enough of the conversation with Dr. Bloom about room 8. I need you to write me a doctor's note that says I have to be allowed into room 8 of the Casper Inn for medical reasons. It has to be room 8, and you have to say it's medically necessary, so that they'll be guilty of discrimination or something if they don't let me go back. I don't want to sue them, but I will if I have to. You're going to find out eventually, so I'll just tell you. I threw a desk out the window, and then I left out after it. It was only 2 stories, so I don't see why it's such a big deal. Well, it wasn't just any desk. It was Chris. When we're together, I don't actually call the desk Chris. I'm not insane. I just made up the names so that people at the office won't ask too many follow-up questions. I can say, I'm seeing Chris this weekend. Chris works in Mendocino. I visit Chris as much as I can. I'm only a temp, so people don't talk to me that much anyway. By the way, I don't like it that you call my relationship with Chris paraphilia. When you were in the restroom, I looked it up. I don't want to have sex with this desk. I love Chris, and Chris loves me, but in a way that makes sex unnecessary. I'm not even sure how one has sex with a desk. You know, they used to classify homosexuality as a paraphilia, so let's talk again when science catches up with me. Chris and I met when I was on a college road trip with my brother. We came to see a stoner band with a name like Hazy Dogs or something like that, and got too drunk to keep going. That was my first day in 8. Back then, Chris was smooth and metallic blue. I'd never seen such a striking combination of color and texture in a practical item before. Chris is made of sturdy metal, designed to sit in the corner of a workshop with invoices, packing slips, and rubber stamps piled on top. But somewhere in the fabrication process, a worker noticed Chris's potential. So he made Chris just a little too small for an industrial setting, and made the drawer handles just a little too feminine to appeal to the rough sorts who usually buy this type of furniture. Someone on the Casper staff saw that Chris was on the side of the road with a sign that said, "Free, take me." It was fate. This is the only logical explanation I can think of. Desks can't talk. I do know that. Usually when Chris and I see each other, I talk about myself, while I run my fingers over the top and sides of the desk. If you think that there's anything sexual about that, then you're the sick one. It's more like the way a blind person touches someone's face to get an idea of what they look like. It's very respectful. The whole reason I went to see Chris on a Wednesday instead of our usual Saturday is that we hadn't seen each other in a month, and I really needed to talk to him. 2 days ago, a few of the women from my department were gathered around my cubicle when I got back from lunch. There were 24 peach roses in a big green vase on my desk, and a card that said, "From me." They said the flowers must be from Chris. I couldn't tell if they really thought that, in which case, who the hell were they from? Or if they sent the flowers themselves so that they could laugh at me. Anyway, when I got there on Wednesday, no one was there to check me in, so it was just me and that fucking bitch of a cigarette machine. I usually bring my own smokes because that machine can go fuck herself, but I was in a hurry. I put in a 10, and of course she ate it. No matter how much I kicked her in the face, she wouldn't give it back to me. And kicked until I knocked the whole machine over right as Joe came in. He just laughed it off and told me they were going to keep that 10, and then he tossed me the key for room 8. Room 8 has always been painted this god-awful 1980s dusty rose for as long as I can remember. It never bothered me before because it only made Chris more beautiful by contrast. But now they painted Chris with that same dusty rose matte wall paint, and they did a sloppy job of it at that. I almost vomited when I opened the door. Chris was like lumpy sandpaper to the touch. Whoever did it painted over the drawer so it wouldn't open. It was already chipping. I forced the drawer open, and I was relieved that they hadn't painted the inside of the drawer. I started kissing Chris because I was so sorry for what happened to him, but the surface felt disgusting on my lips. It was our first kiss, but I could suddenly picture all the other people who stayed in this room and put their pizza boxes, beer cans, and naked asses on top of Chris. The drum circle across the street was getting louder. So, yeah, I threw Chris out the window. Before Chris even hit the ground, I jumped out to follow. I've never done something so horrible in my life, but Chris didn't care. We just lied there in the grass. I was curled up in a ball in between Chris's legs, It started to get dark, and the steady beating of the drum circle was replaced by the erratic clapping of the fireworks some kids were setting off across the street. The fireworks were replaced by a pulsating bass line from the DJ in the bar until suddenly it was morning. I kissed Chris for a second time, and now I don't think we'll see each other again.